Welcome friends, in this next session on Power BI. My name is Parag Newsarkar and I am conducting this session on behalf of Vidyarjan Academy or VDAC. In my last session, we had covered data loading and development of basic dashboard. So today, in addition to data loading, we'll also cover data transformation and merging of data, and then we will develop a dashboard. So as I told you in my last session, before loading the data, let's have a look at the data, what we are going to upload. So we are going to upload this file. As the name suggests, this file contains data about different states of USA. So it has columns starting from ID, then name, abbreviation, country, and up to column Q, that is circuit code. So we'll upload all these rows and columns. Then we will apply some transformation and then we'll develop the dashboard. So let's begin. So we'll open our Power BI desktop application. We click on blank report and we'll upload the file. So for uploading data from Excel, we know there are multiple options. So we'll choose import data from Excel option provided in the middle of our canvas. We click on it and we want to upload data from US states file, right? But that file is not seen here. That is because by default, when we choose the option of uploading data from Excel, it shows only Excel files here. So we have to select all files. So it will show you CSV files also. Since this file is a CSV file, it is not shown. So we'll select this file, click on open. And in our last exercise, we had uploaded data directly. So we had clicked on load button, but this time we want to transform the data. So we'll click on transform data button here. So transformation of data in Power BI, there are different types of transformations. Starting with removing any unwanted rows and columns from the data, changing data types of some columns, renaming columns, splitting columns, or merging and appending queries or rows and columns with the data. So the type of transformation that we want to do here. So USA has total 50 states. But if you look at the data that we are loading here, it contains 51 rows, right? Can you see this bottom of your screen in the left-hand corner? It shows 51 rows and 17 columns. So one row is extra. So let's identify that row which is not required and let's remove it from here. So, okay, before we begin, if you look at toward the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see a box here called Applied Steps. So here in this box, in Power BI, whatever transformation we perform, each step is shown here so that if required to go back, we can undo that step. We'll see as we proceed. So since we have not yet done any transformation, still it is showing 3 steps here. Why? Because Power BI on its own, when it loads data, it applies 3 steps. Source. This means it stores source from where the data was loaded, promoted headers. So by looking at the data, Power BI understands that the top row in our data in Excel was a or is a header. So it is not the actual data. So it promotes that row as a header and content of the data is treated as column names. right? So you can see here ID, name, abbreviation, country. These are all the column names, or these are the column headers, which are shown here as column names. And then some data types are not same in Excel and Power BI. So Power BI changes types of some columns as per the specific data types in Power BI. We'll see those details later. Okay. Right now, let's focus on this transformation. So we will remove one row which is extra. So if you look at the type here, it is state, right? Except for one row at the bottom, that is Washington, DC. The type is capital. That means it is not a state. It is a capital city of USA. So we want to remove this row, the last row, right? So what we will do, we will click on this option of remove row in the ribbon. So click on it. You can see multiple options here. So the row that we want to delete is at the bottom. So we will click on remove bottom rows. Then it will show us one more dialog box asking how many rows from bottom we want to delete. So in this case, we want to delete only one row. So here we'll enter 1 and then we click on OK. So it will delete the last row, right? And if you look at the applied steps box here, it has added one more step here. Shows remove bottom rows. If we want to undo this, then you can click on this red cross here. It will undo that step. Okay. Now, after removing one unwanted row, we also want to remove some unwanted columns, which we do not need in our data in Power BI for our analysis and reporting. So we want to keep only 4 columns here. That is the state name, abbreviation. Then if you move to right, there are 2 columns with region name and division name. So this is region name, this is division name. Apart from these 4 columns, we will remove all the other columns. So for removing columns, there are different ways. One is you right click on the column heading and click on remove option from here. Okay. Other way is you select the click on the column heading to select the column, and there is an option in ribbon to remove column. Click on remove column, it will remove that column. If you want to remove multiple columns in one go, you select that column and keep using your keyboard shortcuts. You press shift and press right arrow. It will keep on selecting the columns. So you select all the columns till region name. Okay. So region name we do not want to delete. We need it. So we have select all these columns. Then click on remove columns. So you click on remove columns, it will remove all these columns. Then census division also we want to remove. So we'll click on remove here and then circuit code. Okay. So we have done our second step in our transformation, which is shown here in the steps, remove columns. If we click on any of these steps, it shows internally Power BI runs some query, which is called Power Query, okay, which has its own language, which is called Power Query. So the Power Query code is shown here in the formula bar. So you can see table.remove columns is the command in that Power Query language, and remove bottom rows and I don't know what is showing bottom rows. It has removed all these columns which are shown here. Okay, yeah, this removed bottom row is, name of the previous step on which we are applying the next step. So if you look at this, the Power BI does not actually physically delete the data from the database. It just creates a new view of the data whenever you apply a new step in your Power Query. So if you look at code of this step, so it will show remove last row and query name it is shown here change type. Query or view name it is shown as change type. So change type is the previous step, after which it has applied this step, remove bottom row. Then you click on this, it will show that this step was applied on the previous step. Okay, close this box. Now, so we have done two transformations. Number one, we removed the bottom row, then we removed the unwanted columns. Now we will rename these columns. So let's rename this column called name to state. So again, for renaming column, there are two ways. Either you right click on the column heading and you'll get an option to rename. So let's call it state. State, right? You click enter. Then, or the other way to change column name is to double click on the column heading. So abbreviation we want to change, we'll change it. We want to change it to ABBR. ABBR. Then click on tab. Then census region name, we can right click on it. We want to call it region name. Okay, so we'll click on rename here and we call it region name. Okay, then we'll rename the last column as division name. We'll again right click on the column heading and we'll change its name to division name. Okay, so we have done one more transformation, which is again shown here in the steps as renamed columns. Now, after having done this, now we want to load the data. The data is not yet loaded in Power BI database. So because we are doing the transformations and data will be loaded after we have done our transformations. So after doing the transformation, now if you look at this, there is a button called for close and apply. So it has three different options. Close, suppose you want to close this without applying the transformation, you can click on close. If you want to apply and continue the transformation, click on apply. So it will apply these steps and it will continue further. But if we are done with the transformation, we will click on close and apply. So it will close that Power Query editor screen and it will open the Power BI desktop screen again. So it is loading the data in the database. And now if you look at this data section here, you will see the table name with having these 4 columns. Or if you go to table view, you will see these 4 columns and 50 rows here. Okay. So in first part of this exercise, we have uploaded data with some transformation from an Excel file. Now, we want to load some more data. This time, we will load our data from a web page. For that, we have an option here. We click on Get Data. You will see the dialog box and you will see an option for web here. If you go to option of other, you'll see of an option of web here. If you click on this web and click on connect, it will give you one more dialog box where you have to enter the URL of the web page from where you want to load data. So let's get URL from of that page. So click on your, open your browser, open wikipedia.org page, and in search, enter list of US states and territories by population. Click on search. So it will show us this page in Wikipedia, which contains this data. So in this page, if you see, so Power BI, once we enter the URL of this page, Power BI goes and looks at this page and identifies the data content in that page. So for example, here, if you start from top of this page, list of US states, there is a lot of text here. Power BI understand this is not a, this does not contain numbers. So this is not a data which we want to load. So it will search for all such tables which contains data, right? So let's copy this URL from here. Control C. Let's go to our Power BI screen and in URL, paste the URL which you have just copied. Click on OK. So Power BI will connect to that page and it will show us all the tables in that page. So it is showing us, so this page contains this 6 plus 4 plus 2. So 12 tables, but we want to load data from the first table on that page. That is this table, US states and territories by population. So we will select this table. It will show us preview of this data. And again, we do not want to load this data as it is. We want to do some transformation. Okay. So we click on transform data and from here also, we do not want to load all the rows and all the columns. So we'll remove the unwanted rows and columns. So we want to load first the state or territory column, then census population 898, second column, and third column is house seats B. So we want to remove all other columns. So we know how to remove. So we click on, right click on this column and we click on remove. Then we select all the remaining columns and click on remove columns. Now we have these 3 columns and it has 61 rows. So we do not want all these rows. We want to load data only from the 50 states. Right. So, and now if you look at the content of these columns, so in some, for some rows, it is showing correct number. For example, let's look at census population column. So it has numerical values. It has some non-numerical values also. And if you look at the non-numerical values, these are not actually states. So we'll remove all these rows. Okay. For this, what we will do, we will change type of this data type of this column to numeric. So let's right click on this column heading and click on change type and select whole number. Right now its data type is text. We'll change it to whole number. Once you click on this, so it shows the status of this transformation. If you look at this census population column header, it is showing some red bar here. That means 6 rows or 9% of the rows have data type could not be changed because it contains non-numeric data. So what we will do, we will remove all those rows. For this, we'll right click on this column header and we'll click on remove header, remove errors. Okay. So it has removed those 6 rows which contain non-numeric data, right? Now, same thing we will do with house seats also. We'll right click on this column heading and we'll change this type to whole number. And again, we right click on this and we click on remove errors. Okay. Now, our data has 51 rows. So we'll see. Okay. So at the bottom, if you see, it is showing total, the 50 states. So we do not want this row. So we'll again click on remove rows, remove bottom rows, and we enter number 1 here to remove the last 1 row from the bottom. Okay. Now we'll click on, no, before that, we will rename these columns. So first column we'll rename as state. So rename. So rename here, we'll rename it to state. Okay. Press enter. Then second column we will rename as census population or only population. So we'll right click on it, click on rename, and we'll rename it to population. Last column we'll rename to house seats. So we have done with all our transformations. Now we'll click on close and apply. Oh, it seems there are some changes which are not applied from our previous transformation. So I think it has done that now. Now that we have uploaded data from 2 different sources, it has come into 2 different tables. It has been loaded into 2 different tables. Number 1, 02 US states data. This is the data that we have uploaded from our Excel sheet. And second table is US states and territories. In this table, we have loaded data from web page. But we want all this data into a single table. So for getting data from 2 tables into a single table is done using, again, data transformation, which we have 2 different options. We will have a look at these 2 options. So for which we'll click on in our home page, in our home tab, in our ribbon, we have an option called transform data. We click on transform data, which will open Power Query editor screen. And in this screen, we have an option called merge queries here. Okay, so using merge queries, we will merge these 2 tables. So for getting data into one table from 2 or more tables, there are 2 options, merge query and append query. Append query we use when structure of the data is same and we want to get all the data into single table. For example, if you are getting sales data from different regions in different files, so you will load that data into different tables, region-wise tables in your Power BI, and then you will use append query to get all the data into a single table. But in our case, we have different type of data in two different tables, like first 4 columns in one table and 3 columns, other 3 columns in the second table. So we do not want to append the data. We want to merge this so that it has only 50 rows with the 7 columns, right? So we click on, so we select USDAT data because we want to store all the data into this table. So we select this table, then we click on merge queries. So it is showing sample data or preview of the data from this table. Now it is asking us the second table name from where we want to merge the data. So we'll select this second table here and it will show preview of the data in the second table. For merging data from two different tables, these tables should have one common column, which will be a key or primary key for both the tables, using which it will merge the data. So state is the common column name here or common column in these two tables. So we will select state from first table. We also select state from the second table. So it knows that it has to merge the data using columns, these two columns. Okay. So just click on ignore and click on save. Okay. Now, once you click on OK, it will start merging. So you click on OK. So it has added the second table as an additional column in our first table. So if you look at this icon here, which is showing 2 arrows on both the sides, and it will show you, if you expand this, because type is shown here, a value of data is shown here as table and not the actual data. So if you expand this, it will show you all the columns. So now it is asking expand and which all column you want to show. So we will select all columns and we click on OK. So what it will do, it will match the state from first table and the second table, and it will merge the corresponding columns. Now, if you look at the column headers here, it is showing table name dot column name. Because if a column name is common, it will create ambiguity. So what we will do, we will remove this second state column. We'll just check whether it is taken same row from both the tables. So if you look at the state names in this column and state name in this column, they are same. So we'll rename this column, we'll remove this column now. We do not want it now because we needed it only for merging. So remove it. Oh, I think we made some mistake because it had been selected all the columns. So we'll undo this state and we'll select. Okay. So it has these 3 columns. So we'll remove only this column. Right click on it and click on remove to remove that column. Other 2 columns will rename. We'll remove the table name from the column name there. So we will rename and we'll just call it only population. That is the column name. Remove the table name, which is prefixed with the column name. Second column also will rename. We'll keep only house seats there. Okay. Now we have these 6 columns. So 4 columns in our original USDAT data table and 2 additional columns which we have taken from the second table. Now we click on close and apply. So it will load the data in our Power BI database into a single table. Okay, so if you look at the second table, it has those 3 columns. And if you look at the USDAT data table, it has this 6 column, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now we will develop a dashboard using this data. So we'll click on our report view. Okay, and we'll expand this to a table to show all the columns. So we want to develop a dashboard which looks like this. So it has three visuals. This is a pie chart, which is showing sum of house seats by region. Then this is a map chart, which is showing sum of population by state and state. We'll see what does it mean. And there is a slicer. Slicer is a spatial filter, or it's a visual filter shown on any scene on any report, which is applied to all the other visuals in that report or in that page. Okay, so we'll see how we develop this dashboard and how we apply a slicer. So let's go back to our Power BI screen. Okay, so which is the first visual we want to draw? This is a pie chart, right? So this is the pie chart. We select this pie chart and we want region-wise population, right? It's sum of house seats by region, not population, house seats. Okay, so we'll select region and we'll select house seats. So it has drawn this pie chart, which is showing sum of house seats by region. Okay. Now, second type of chart is second type of visual is a spatial visual. It's called field map. So let's see. So field map, if you look at this visualization pane, you'll see two types of maps here. One is this globe, which is called only map. The second is this, which is called field map. So click on this. Oh, sorry. We have to click on the canvas here. Otherwise, type of the first visual will be changed. So now we click on field map. So it has shown us a blank field map here. So we want state and population, right? Sum of population by states. So, and we click on population. Okay, we expand this. Oops. So it is showing all the states which are there in our data. Okay, now it is showing sum of population by state, but we want to show each state separately. So we also in the drag and drop state in the legend field here. So it is showing all the states and its population. Okay, so it is showing all the states in the legend here, in the population. Now, what we will do, it is United States map. It has two states which are very far from the other states. One is Alaska, and second is this Hawaii. Because of which it is showing it's not properly zoomed in. So what we will do, we'll go to filter and we'll select all and we will remove Alaska and we also remove the state Hawaii. Where is it? Hawaii. So it is proper zoomed in now so that we can see all the states here. Okay. So after adding these two visuals in our dashboard, we will now add a slicer on house seats. So as we said earlier also, slicer is a visual filter which is applied on all the other visuals added in that report or page. So to add a slicer, we will first click on the blank space in the canvas. Then we will select this slicer from visualization pane is here, slicer. Click on the slicer. Create a blank slicer here. Now we add house seats in this slicer. So if you see, you can resize this. So you see the slicer is added here, and there are, since it's a numeric field, outseats is a numeric field, we can enter its value in two ways. Either we can enter the value in the checkboxes provided here. Sorry, this boxes provided here, or we can also use this slider. So you see the number of seats between 15 and 33. It is showing all the states for which the number of seats are between 15 and 33. We pull it to the maximum 52 value, then it will show all the states for which the number of seats are between 15 and 52. So instead of using this slider, you can also choose to enter in this box here. Okay. So if you notice, it is changing both the visuals whenever we apply any values in the slicer, right? So changing the values in the slicer, it applies filter to both the visuals. So after developing the report, we can save it. So for which click on File, click on Save, on Save As. Or you can click on Save here. File name, so Power BI Excel size 02, and you can choose the folder where you want to save it and click on Save. You can also export it to a PDF. So if you click on Export and click on Export to PDF, a PDF file will be generated showing these three visuals on it. Okay, so this is what we had in today's session. Thank you.